Whether you know him from The Leftovers or when Cloudfield told us he was a girl, all we know is that Ferra has obviously won the hearts of many through his wonderful performances as well as now being a pretty high-level coach. Ferra, obviously welcome to the broadcast. Greatly appreciate you taking the time. First and foremost, man, I know we talked a little bit off camera. You've been sick. How are you feeling? How are things? Like, are we good now? Like,
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Everything is good. What about you?
I mean, we're surviving. You know, it's obviously a little bit different circumstance. You saw all the fun behind the scenes things of audio breaking and restarts, and you know how it goes. So, of course, technology continues to be a pain in the ass. So, jokes aside, though, let's jump straight into it. Appreciate you taking the time, obviously, but some pretty interesting things surrounding the Vitality roster. I know you and I talked quite a bit behind the scenes before when you decided to take your break and making sure you were all good, and you had some time to reassess. I guess from my own curiosity, why Vitality? Like, what, is it just because everybody speaks baguette, or is it like, is there other reasons? You know?
Yeah, I don't think I would have done this with any team. Vitality. I mean, I wasn't sure I was going to go into coaching because I had various reasons, but I was just looking for the right fit, right? And I think like Vitality with the prestige the org has, whether it's like esports wise, but also the like when you look at the history the Rocket League team has, was like a good, I wouldn't say starting point, but it was like a nice way for me to re-enter the scene and to help the team, climb back to where it used to be. Because when I joined, it was not really me. It was the team was going through a really rough patch with, the former roster of Ferry Peak, K-Dop, and Alpha. They had pretty bad, what was it, fall major of 2021, I think. And the regionals that followed that were not good.
It's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
The roster was in an extremely bad position, and we had to pretty much do all of it from scratch and to rebuild a team. Pretty much. I mean, a lot of people changed. The coach changed. Only Alpha from that time has remained. And we've brought in a lot of new blood, and we've tried to actually rebuild something completely new and try to climb back to the top steps of Europe, to where Vitality has always been. So that was kind of interesting as a project to not be directly at the top, and actually have history and knowing that we have a goal set in mind, but it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be I just go there and we're going to win, but not necessarily because of me, but just because the players are so good. And that's what happens with a lot of teams, right? It's like Rocket League is a game where if players are good, usually things are okay, and they don't need a lot of stuff around them.
I mean, it's got to be interesting because something I've always appreciated about you. Obviously, all the French players kind of like stay in cliques and keep to themselves, because from what we've learned from talking, like I remember season 6 in Vegas, you and I talked a lot about just life, phone plans in America.
Yeah.
And like, it was the first time that we had a French player outside of maybe like Ferry Peak as he started to open up in KDOP that like actively was like, I want to talk and get to know you guys and be this forthcoming. So it's really cool from my perspective to see you grow, not only like just as a person and as a human, but throughout your career. And the fact that you're now transitioning into coaching, I don't even know if you have background in that. Like, I don't know where your experience comes or how that process has been. Like, I'm sure there's been some learning curve to being a coach and trying to identify what that's like with the perspective of being a pro and be like, guys, I've been there, I've done that. Like, listen. So I don't know if you've had any of that kind of complication with the guys, or if it's been pretty like respectable from the beginning.
Well, I mean, esports in general is a young scene, right?
Yeah.
And so it applies to Vitality, but also every big org, right? They try to staff up and to have people try and help getting performance out of everything, and not just the players, right? But the issue is that most of the jobs, they're pretty new. Even coaching esports is well, it's pretty new, right? Well, you have coach in, traditional sports and everything, but those have been around for like 50, 60, 70, 100 years sometimes. So they got time to figure stuff around, and also because you have all of the physical abilities and everything that's being scientifically proven and stuff. In esports, it's different. So I feel like my personal experience as a player and what I felt I needed from the time I was playing, and also because I was not just playing, but I was also doing a lot of side stuff.
You coached while you played. Let's be real. Like you were
for my teams. Yeah, usually I was doing more than just the usual players. So I had experience doing stuff. It's just not the standard coaching experience. But what is standard in esports? I think like everything is brand new, and you just try and do what you feel is good for a team or a player, and that's what pretty much I've been doing since the start. So there was some kind of I guess especially the first sprint when I arrived there was some stuff I had to get used to.
Anything in particular?
I didn't want to. I didn't want to impose myself too much, right, and change too much because I just arrived there and I was pretty new. And K-Dub's been there for a long time, Alpha's been there for a long time, and the staff around them was there for a long time. So I didn't want to, change too much. But then, the off season happened, and I started, really try and push through a lot of things, try and push the players as much as I can, so we could actually, build something even better for the next season. And but yeah, it took time, and there is stuff obviously that I learned, doing it, obviously.
How's that? I mean, that experience has hopefully been like fulfilling, right? Like hopefully you've been able to find enjoyment. Like it's not just all stress and everything, because it's easy when you're winning, right? Second place recently, we'll definitely dive into that. But like, I hope you've found fulfillment and enjoyment in being like this process and becoming a coach and seeing that kind of evolution. Like I hope it hasn't just been all work for you, Ferra. Like I hope you're actually having fun doing your job, right?
I mean, it's still competition. So sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not, right? I don't think anyone had fun when we did not qualify for the first regional of the year. Yeah, there is rough patch, but that's competition, and that's the hard part. But also that's also why I stopped playing, right? It's because that became too much. And coaching, as much as it takes time, it's not as much time as being a player, and it's not as big of a commitment. So I still have other stuff to enjoy in life, and still have free time and everything. And that's good. That's healthier for me, because other than that, competition can be pretty stressful, to be honest. So.
I used to compete, and it was short-lived, and I don't miss it. So I get you, man. It's a little bit different too now that these kids are playing for like $300,000+ every major, and the Worlds is like $2 million. It's like it's insane, and that's just the money side, not even the prestige and everything else you guys are working for. But yeah, I mean, it is cool to see that evolution. Out of curiosity, for my sake, how much like empowerment does Vitality give you? Obviously, you guys are dealing with like a 4-man roster, even though Zen's not technically on the roster yet because he can't be. Do they allow you and like enable you to make those kind of decisions? Is it more of a collective with the team? Like, how do you guys go about those kind of conversations?
What do you mean? Which decisions in particular?
So like, obviously, you guys had to do a rebuild. Is that mainly you scouting players? Is that taking investment from like, hey, Alphas, like I really want these people? Like, how have you guys kind of rebuilt?
Yeah, it's a team effort, but not just from the players. We also have to consult the direction and see what's possible, finance-wise kind of thing. Can we get this player? Can we pay this player? Can we? There is stuff that we wanted to do that we could not do. That's just esports, right? Yeah. So it's like trying to find the middle ground on what's possible for the Vitality higher-ups, what's good, what would be good for us, what we would be confident going into the season, and it's just everyday kind of process of like, okay, so this is possible, this is not possible, and everything, and then we reassess every time there is new stuff happening. And last off season there a lot of stuff happened, so we ended up going we ended up going a very specific route that's not common in Rocket League, but pretty common, or like that did happen in some other esports. It's pretty common, for example, in League of Legends in Asia. But yeah, this is something that actually we thought a lot about, and there is, it's not just, it didn't happen out of thin air, and I did have my say on a lot of those subjects. So yeah, I do have a lot of how do we say, power over those decisions. But
they give you the
not
ability
everything.
Cool.
But not everything resolves around me either. So it's like a middle ground.
Way to keep that ego in check, man. Yeah, the cool thing is, like, obviously for a lot of us, we've seen Alpha's career. Obviously with the TSM situation, there was some 1v3 jokes that were made, and like I still don't think we've really gotten to see Alpha's full potential. And I don't know if that's just due to circumstances or otherwise, but like you are starting to see, I guess from my perspective, obviously there's been some struggles, and that takes time. You got new players, like you're trying to figure out how things are going to interact. And now you guys finally get to see like what could be. And this narrative of, okay, you guys are getting second place, things are going well, that is not something that happened overnight. Clearly it is something you guys have been working hard towards to kind of find what this formula for success is. And then despite that, there's still this looming thing of Zen's going to take somebody's spot after. And it's like, you guys are building, things are successful, we're finally going great. I'm dropping an earbud so I can't hear you right now. But it is a thing that I think is interesting from our outside perspective to be like, okay, Vitality is finally back in that narrative, in that conversation where they're supposed to be, as we've gotten used to. But then there's this other like factor that could change things again. From your guys' side, like if you want to create and control that narrative, like how would you feel about that situation? You guys are working hard, but then there's Zen. So like what's happening? Alpha and Redosin are playing out of their mind. We haven't even talked about it. Like it's complicated. I can't imagine it's easy.
What's the can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
No, you can't.
I can hear you. I got you.
All right. What's the question here?
I guess I'm curious on your perspective on that circumstance. Like, obviously, you guys have been working hard to get to a point where you guys can be back part of the conversation. I think you guys did a phenomenal job. Like, you are one of two teams in that grand final that didn't. Like, you guys didn't make a change. Like, you guys built upon what you already had.
Are we there yet? Top two finish is nice, right?
Yeah.
And sure, it didn't come out of nowhere. We had a great end of the first split after a pretty bad start, but we still did not qualify for any major, and it's been a while. So this is looking likely for this split, but this is still not done, right? We can still. Europe is it's extremely competitive, so you can see it with like teams like BDS, who just they're still the world champions.
Yeah.
And they last season they placed top 12. This can happen to anyone. This can happen to us as well. So the major is not a lock-in, and if we underperform next week, then I wouldn't say it's all over again. But it's like the people are going to forget. Right? We're not there yet. We need more consistently good results. We need to perform at an event. And we are not there yet. It's a good start. So yeah, the final is good, but we want to do more. So obviously, and this is part of the reasoning of like, we're not seeing just one regional at a time. We want to see long term. That's why we signed then in the first place. Like, we're not just seeing this season. We're seeing the seasons afterwards, right? We're trying to build something that's consistently good for a very long time. And players, they come and they go, and this doesn't even have to do with us. You look at Europe, you look at North America, roster mode, they happen all the time, and sometimes in very questionable fashion. Like, I don't know, Oxygen last minute change with Oli or whatever.
Yeah, we spent like 30 minutes on that last episode. We don't need to talk. We'll keep going.
It happens all the time. Our way of doing it is a bit different. It's like, we know we want to build something, long term with Zen. Not necessarily this season, but for the next years coming. Being like, all right, if I don't do that well, I'm gonna have to find another team. Or if I do very well and my team is not performing very well, we still gonna have an option. Or if we do very well and the team is performing really well, we will still have another good option that can even improve further. It's like we're not going to be left in the dry, and this has happened before for like many teams where like there is one bad split and the whole roster just splits, or like one very good player like gets out and everyone gets stuck for a while. And we went the opposite route. We were like, okay, we're going to have solutions no matter what for a long time, but you just have to keep working and keep playing very hard. And we are seeing the results of that. It's like with players, even alpha, they're putting work, they're playing more and more, and they're being more and more consistent with their good performance. And I feel like, yes, sometimes, and I get the argument that this is not the nice way to go about it, and people would wish sometimes that we would get only 3 players and spend the rest of the season with them. But the format and LCS has changed over time. And before, you would spend one season, and one season was 6 months, and then you'd spend the whole cycle. So like league play, playoffs, and Worlds, and that was it. Your season, no one was doing roster moves because that was not possible, and then you would do your changes. But no, the season is a bit different, right? It's like a year long, which is extremely long. You can perform very well at the beginning and then slowly drop off. There is 3 different split and only one World Championship at the end. So you can see the season as one whole block kind of thing, but I feel like it's more like 3 different splits, and you work through them and you try to make changes that will maybe do good for the future. But I don't see it as just one season, and no team does that, right? Every team makes change if they feel they need it. PDS last season did, and that works very well for them. Yeah. They won the World Championship despite them being first. Was that fair? I don't know, but they still ended up winning. And sometimes in esports, that's what it's all about. Unfortunately, for some players, for example, Marky was benched, and that was, I guess, not a nice situation for him, but he still ended up fine afterwards, right? He found a new home. He's doing okay on his team, but he found a new team. He found a new job, kind of thing. It's like, if players want it, and if players work for it, if players are good enough, they will find opportunities. It's just sometimes, as an org and as a team, you want what's best for you as well, and that's what we're doing. So players want what's the best for them. We want what's best for Vitality, and sometimes our goals align, and sometimes they don't, and that's we ended up with this situation, which is, I guess, pretty good for now. Everyone is happy with it, at least on our side.
Which is great, and I candidly, I appreciate the fuck out of you saying that, because in this industry we have a lot of young kids that, heaven forbid you criticize them and they take it personally. They don't understand this is a business. There is hundreds upon thousands of millions of dollars at stake that these people are investing, and at the end of the day, if you're Vitality, your goal is to win, right? Like that is your goal, and sometimes that means making the tough calls and changes and applying pressure. And it's why I appreciate teams like Gen G so much. You see how Jack, Nolly, and them are putting in time and are having success because of it. And it's frustrating because I can't be the one that says that stuff. As for years, I can't be the one that says, guys, figure it out. But
Vincent, to be honest, in esports in general, players are the one benefiting the most from the money that's there, right? Players are the one who are getting the biggest salaries. They're getting the prize pool. They're getting everything from the industry. So it makes sense from an org perspective to actually try and get something out of them as well, and to ask for, I don't know, I would say more performance, because performance is not necessarily a given. You can't just ask someone to do better, right, but to actually try and do good and perform good and try and work more, practice more efficiently, because especially in Rocket League, for a long time, and it's still the case, players are not taking it.
They're lazy.
I would say seriously.
They're lazy.
They're taking it lightly.
It's really tough, right? Because at the end of the day, they are kids, right? They're 15, 16. Their worldview, their perspective is those things, but you are being paid an exorbitant amount of money to do a job, and it's. I can't imagine how difficult it is to find those motivators or find those things to keep them proactive in it. But at the same time, if we're being realistic from my perspective, You guys are scrimming 2 to 3 hours a day, and then some replay analysis here and there, and otherwise. So if you're scrimming 3 hours a day and you get a full night's rest of 8 hours, that's 11 hours of your day. What are you doing for the other 13? You're not making content, you're not streaming, you're not doing literally anything. Maybe you're messing around in free play and playing ranked and keeping your hours up, but overall, like, that is so much time that could be used in any other capacity, and a lot of them just don't. But the issue is people like myself can't say that. It has to come from other players. It has to be from a point of respect that is like, like, I can't be advocate. Like, I've been saying for years, build your brand, work on this, set yourself up for success.
I do agree in some part, but I feel like content is a different thing because
100%.
Some players, they don't really want, I wouldn't say the spotlight or anything, but it's a different kind of job. And also because some players, and that was my case, just like competition. Like, we just want to compete. We just want to be the best at what we do. Doesn't mean we want to be, the next a big star, the big YouTuber or big whatnot. Yes, it does allow you to get, extra pay or extra revenue or anything, but sometimes you just don't want to do it. And that's the case with a lot of players, right? Because they're not comfortable with it. But in the meantime, you still have free time. You still have a lot of more time to do to practice and improve your gameplay, and that some players don't.
That's my biggest criticism, right? Is like, I can't continue to watch you complain on the timeline, or that you don't have a long-term career, that you're not finding success, when all I hear is all you do is scrim and then you're done. Like, you have to be your own motivator, which I know is easier said than done. Rocket League is mentally draining. It is a game that just it depletes you very quickly. So I understand you got to find that work-life balance, which is tough to try to educate a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid about time management and stuff like that. It comes with experience, which is why I appreciate people
and it's different from the past, right? Because like I didn't have this point of view before, like say 2017, 2018 or anything, because salaries were much lower and it was not viable long term, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays,
it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Players are really young, but they're gaining insane salaries, so it just makes sense to ask more of them so they can, make value out of it, or like, people are paying them, so it just makes sense for them to ask a little bit more from them sometimes if they feel like they're not doing enough.
It's really appreciative to hear it from your perspective too, because obviously you've been there, done that. You've seen the contrast between before and after. You've lived it. So to wrap this up, because I've already taken way too much of your time and it's greatly appreciated, let's focus in on the last regional. Obviously, second place finish, all that kind of stuff. Kind of take me through your thoughts just through the regional in general. Results, things you liked, disliked, any like notable mentions, just kind of your overall opinion on regional.
Sure. To be honest, that was a bit of a surprise. I think we were struggling recently in scrims and practice in general. We were not really happy with how we were playing. We kept doing the same mistakes over and over again since the start of the year. So that was, I wouldn't say worrying, but we did not came in the event with the biggest confidence. And then the event started, and especially, even just the qualifier before that was a great help, because we could actually see what we were doing wrong under pressure and everything. And then the regional came, and we were, I guess, more comfortable under pressure this time around, and we could actually fix what we were doing badly in scrims. We found, I would say the secret formula, but we things clicked suddenly, and that was great. That was unexpected but great, and especially because we had a very tough week with everyone being sick, and we had to cancel practice for pretty much every day. And so that was a very weird week, but a very I welcome this result with open arms, to be honest, because the top two is it's a really good start of the split, and it's only as I said on the broadcast the other day, it's only up from there. I think we figured out what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong, we know we could have done much better in the finals but we were very exhausted, I guess, because the week was long, the semifinals was very tough, and everyone was on very high fever. We know we can do much better than that, and no, there was not a lot of, I wouldn't say competition, but surprisingly enough, only Carmine Corp felt like a really good team to play against. Otherwise, we were comfortable in our series. Like even the Oxygen one was winnable much earlier than we did. We could have won 4-1 or 4-2, but yeah, we kind of got scared to win at some point. And I think this is because also the players are still outside of Alpha, Rados and Seizen. They still lack a bit of experience. They still need to perform at those levels to be comfortable with it. And but we're getting through that, and the fact that we won was really important. And now we actually could play in the final. And the next time we're going to be more comfortable playing in it, and I wouldn't say we are automatically going to win, but it's looking good, to be honest. It's looking really good.
Yeah, I think you and I both really favor that side of consistency. It needs to be proven. So not only is the exposure really good for your players that haven't been in those moments, but I guess my biggest concern is, do you think it's recreatable? Like, obviously you guys are starting to notice through competition, like, hey, these are flaws that we are trying to figure out, and now that we feel like we have a solution. But as you know, you and I both know that Rocket League's a reactionary game. It is a very, like, we're going to come in with a game plan, but it doesn't always go according to that. So
yeah. And every small change, it's the butterfly effect, like times 1,000, because just one player can do one very specific thing differently, and the whole team changes. The whole team dynamic changes, and it's very hard to pinpoint what's going wrong sometimes or what's going right. So, but it's good. I think we found a few key points, not just last weekend, but the weekend before. And yeah, like the series were comfortable. We won our group pretty, comfortably. We beat teams that are considered below us pretty easily, which is, I wouldn't say new, but this has been an issue for a while, and we are being more and more, comfortable again playing against those teams, and we are taking it to the big teams now, and actually winning. And no, it's not a fluke, right? The most series was close, but we were the better team. The Oxygen series was really close at the end, but we were the better team. And Carmine Corp, the finals, that was not close, but we won on Friday. So I guess we can do it.
Proving to yourself that it is doable, which is, I think, a lot of it. A lot of people have that mental barrier.
It's doable. Yeah. It's doable. And when we started the split, I feel like in our minds, there were teams that were a little bit better than us, but after this regional, it feels like we are getting there, and that's good. That's good, especially morale-wise. I feel it's good. It's big motivation jump, and but also we know that some teams are still underperforming quite hard, and that they can bounce back at any moment. I'm thinking like BDS, for example. Some teams they're still pretty scary, but for some reason sometimes stars don't align and you don't perform, so that's what happens. But some teams are still pretty scary in Europe, but I'm pretty happy that we are finding the consistency, and that we actually deliver under pressure, and we are getting those young players that we have some really good experience for what's coming next.
Well, final question for you, Ferra, just so I can let you get out of here. Way too soon prediction. Who are your 5 going to the major for Europe, if you had to guess right now?
Carmine, obviously, we should be going as well. I mean, it's likely. I don't want to jinx it, but not getting there would be a massive disappointment. Then I think Oxygen, and then the next 2 teams. I do feel BDS is still gonna come back, and the 5th team is probably gonna be either Moist or German Amigos. I'm thinking Moist. Oh no, I forgot about Liquid. Yeah. Oh, this is tough, actually.
Welcome
This
to
is
Europe,
tough,
man.
actually. Yes, I think. I'll go with moist. I'll go with moist somewhat, but yeah, liquid still did it last split. Like they came clutch on the last moment, so they could do it. They could do it again. And German Amigos does have a head start. So they can still make it. But yeah, I feel like us, Carmine, Oxygen, PDS, and moist are gonna be the fire. I don't know.
It's gonna be spicy.
It's pretty
man.
hard.
It's gonna be
pretty hard.
spicy. I look forward to it,
Yeah.
but again, Ferra, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for taking the time and dealing with all the nonsense behind the scenes and being a guinea
It's
pig.
okay.
But seriously, man, it's always a pleasure. Favorite thing about you is you're not afraid to speak your mind. You're very articulate. You're willing to give us more than what we ask for. So seriously.
I talk too much.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's more work for my editor, but that's his problem, not mine. So we're good. But Ferra, seriously, thank you as always. Best of luck this upcoming week. It's going to be
Thank you.
another day full of parody, I assume, because it's Europe. It's what happens. So seriously, man, best of luck to you guys and the guys and moving forward. And really appreciate the perspective on motivating the players, keeping the hours up, and all that kind of stuff. Because again, that's stuff we don't get to hear about. So it is really appreciated.